Hello, this is Michael Sawyer, and here's my card ranking of Exploding Kittens. And the first three cards are just bad, like they're meant to be bad. First one is Devil Cat, you get from Armageddon, and those are just kind of bad because you basically die if you don't have a diffuse. Exploding Kitten, you die if you don't have a diffuse. And Imploding Kitten, which is the most unique one, or you go face up first if you draw it, and then if you die face up, or if you draw it when you face up, you die from Imploding Kittens. Then you have Mark from Streaking Kittens, where you basically can see another person's card. Then you have Clairvoyance from Zombie Kittens, where you can essentially see where somebody puts the exploding kittens. And then you have Creepy Peeky, where you can look at somebody's hand. But then you also get and that's from the starter pack plus the 8-card special from 10th anniversary. And then also from the 8-card special is this next card here. I don't really like it because it's just, you basically essentially make the next person discard 3 times for each turn, and they can discard whatever they want. Then you got Grave Robber, which makes a dead person from Zombie Kittens essentially like place give you a card, and they can give you whatever they want. And then versus also from Zombie Kittens, the Feed the Dead, which is everybody else feeds a card to the dead person, but they have to be dead. Then you have Garbage Collection from Streaking Kittens, and where you randomly put a card in the discard pile. Then you got Potluck, which is like you put a card on top of the pile and then you redraw cards. And then from Streaking Kittens, and then Potluck is from Barking Kittens. Then you have the starter pack and the 8-card special. You have the archaeology card, and basically you just kind of draw. Basically, you can essentially put a card randomly from the discard pile back in the deck, but most of the time we just put it on top. And then you have Favor, which is somebody can randomly give you a card, but it's always kind of a bad card, and it can be an Exploding Kitten if you have the Streaking Kittens expansion. And Favors in like literally everything. And then you have this Rock, Paper, Scissors card, which is kind of neat. If you win, you get to draw 2 cards from the discard pile. If you lose, you draw nothing, and if you tie, you draw 1 card, and that's from the 8-card special. And then moving on down, I'd say all those cards there were D tier. They're just kind of bad to have in your hand. All these are cat cards here, and you can either have draw 2 cards from somebody's hand, ask for a card if you have 3 of them, and then if you have 5 random ones, you can take a card from the discard pile. And basically, if you have, and you can do this with any set of cards, so they're not special. But ranking from worst to best, you have this horse one, don't like it. That's from Good vs. Evil. And then you have the mermaid thing from Good vs. Evil, don't like it. And then this one's okay, this like Shock Electricity Cat from Zombie Kittens, and then you have the Bat Cat from Exploding Kittens. Those are okay. And then you got Beard Cat, which from Normal Kittens, which is okay. And then you have Potato Cat from Normal Kittens. And these are the ones I kind of like a little bit more. The Pumpkin one and the Decapitated Cat, that's kind of funny. Watermelon Cat is kind of good. And then these two are both from, and all those are Zombie Kittens and Exploding Kittens. And then you got this like sword guy. I like the design. And then the cat in the computer is really funny, and that's from Good vs. Evil. And then the last 2 I really like because there's plushies and games based off of them, and that's Taco Cat and Rainbow Cat. And these are the cat cards, but better. Basically, it could be any cat card you want, and that's from Good vs. Evil and the first expansion, Imploding Kittens. And those are cat cards better. That's cat cards are basically just C tier. And then B tier. Starting in B tier, you got Tower Power, which is you wear a wearable crown, and you have 8 cards that you can either have people draw from instead of your hand, or you can pick one of the 8 and shuffle it back in. That's pretty cool. Barking Kitten, it's pretty cool. I mean, you make somebody give you half of their cards, and you give them half back. It's okay. It's a decent card. And then you got this Twin Power card, or whatever, and that's from the 8-card expansion, sorry. And both the first 2 are from Barking Kittens, and this is from the 8-card special. And basically this one, you have them, you can draw any any pairs that they have, so any set of 2 cards is how I understand it. Then Shuffle, which is from everything. it's just you shuffle the deck, and then shuffle now is just you do it whenever. And that's from Zombie Kittens. Or maybe it's from Good vs. Evil. Oops. Anyway, then you have Armageddon from Good vs. Evil. This is basically the middle of B tier, the middle 85% of all the deck. And basically what this is you either you shuffle the God Cat and the Devil Cat, and basically you get a pick whether they basically you shuffle it and you give one to one person and you get to keep one, and they pick whatever card they want, and basically they try to get the God Cat or Devil Cat. If they get the Devil Cat, then they die or defuse it. If you get the God Cat, the best card in the game. Then you have take that from Barking Kittens, which is you basically take the next person's card, which can be good or bad. And then here's from Barking Kittens, personal attack. It's the black sheep of the attacks. Basically, you take 3 turns instead of making other people take 3 turns. And then you have, and then you have Dig Deeper from Zombie Kittens, which this card is pretty good, I would say. And you can basically pick the top card or you can pick the next card. And then you have plus plus, which just adds 1 to see the future attack. So you can make it from see the future times 3 to see the future times 4, or attack times 2 to attack times 3. And then you have draw from the bottom, which is simply just drawing from the bottom of the deck, which is okay. And then you have swap top and bottom, where you swap top and bottom cards. And then you have raising heck, where you draw from the bottom. But if you don't like the card, you put it back on top. And then here's to see the futures. And I guess plus plus is the 8-card expansion. Draw from the bottom is the first expansion, including Kittens. Swap top and bottom is Streaky Kittens. Raising Heck is Good vs. Evil. And then this is also from Good vs. Evil, where you reveal the future, where you get to see the future, but then you gotta show everybody else, which is not my favorite. And then you gotta see the future, which is in like all 3 main games. And then you have see the future times 5, where you get to see the future, but you see 5 cards instead of 3, and that's from Streaky Kittens. All these down, and that's all of B tier. I'd say, and then this is A tier, so these are like good cards to have. Then you have Share the Future from Barking Kittens, where you get to rearrange the top 3 cards, but then you show the next person, so I don't like showing them the next card. Then you have Alter the Future times 3, which is from Imploding Kittens, and basically you get to alter the top 3 cards, and then this is alter the top 3 cards, but you get to do it whenever you want, and that's from Barking Kittens. That's from Barking Kittens, and then you have alter the future times 5 from Streaky Kittens, but you get to do it with 5 cards instead of 3. Woohoo! Now you have Skip, which is in like every game, where you get to skip you just skip your turn and make the next person draw instead, but it's only 1. Reverse is from Imploding Kittens, but it's pretty cool. It's from Imploding Kittens, but you get a reverse direction play if you have more than 2 people. And then you have Barry, which is also really cool. You get to skip your turn, but you get to place the top card wherever you want in the deck. And it gets you out of Curse the Cat, which is later. Then you have the next best attack, which is Attack of the Dead, where you make the next person take turns for each dead person. For 3 turns per dead person, so if you're playing with 5 people and 3 people are dead, well, you make them take 9 turns. But you have to have dead people for it to work. So if you like me and only play with 1 person, it's really useless. And then you have Attack, which is in like all 3 games, where you make the next person take 2 turns. And Attack of the Dead is in Zombie Kittens, and attacks are in all the games. Targeted Attack is in Imploding Kittens and Good vs. Evil. And basically you choose who takes the next turn. Then you got this one, which is really cool, where you put all the Exploding Kittens on top and shuffle the deck. And it only skips 1 turn, but you get to cause chaos with a whole bunch of people if there's a lot of Exploding Kittens. And that's from Streaky Kittens. Then you have Super Skip from Streaky Kittens, Barking Kittens, and Zombie Kittens. So this card used to be super rare, but now it's kind of common, which is okay. And basically, essentially, you get to skip as many turns that you are taking. So if you have like 10 turns from all the attacks, you skip 10 turns. Now then you have Robin Hood, which is you basically redistribute everybody's cards as you wish, which is really cool. So you can just redistribute it, but it can be noped. And that's from the 8-card special, and so is this next card here, which is this hamster card. And basically you get to make 1 person go to 1 card. and that can be noped, but it's really nice if you can make them go to one card. And these are both from the 8-card special. Now, those are all A-tier cards. Now, this bottom row are all S-tier cards. Like, these are the best cards. First, you have Curse the Kappa, which makes the next person shuffle their hand, and they can only randomly draw from their shuffled pile until they draw successfully. Well, this makes them waste a whole bunch of cards, and that's super fun. Then you have Nope, which can basically nope anything except a diffuse or zombie kitten, so that you can take 2 turns. You say nope, yeah, I don't want to take 2 turns, or nope, them seeing the future, or whatever. It is really cool, and that's in all 3 base games. Then you have Zombie Kittens or Zombie Kittens, which is you can basically have them. You can diffuse a kitten or double cat, and basically, I mean, but if somebody's dead, you bring them back in, which is cool if you're the dead person. But if you're not the dead person, then you just brought somebody back, and they can have a whole bunch of cards. And you have diffuses from the 2 games of Exploding Kittens and Good versus Evil, which is you just diffuse an Exploding Kitten or the Double Cat. Then you have Streaking Kitten, where you can hold an Exploding Kitten. It can be super helpful, and you can screw a whole bunch of people over with that. And that's obviously from Streaking Kittens. Then you have Clone from the Zombie Kittens, and you can basically clone almost any. You can clone any of these cards before. Why it's so powerful. But it can only be the top card in the discard pile is the drawback. But here's Godcat. If you have this card in your hand, everybody knows you have it in your hand because you can see it. But also, essentially, it can be any card except a note for some reason. But you can pick what it is. You can pick it to be a diffuse, an attack. And it's the most powerful card. But you have to win it in Armageddon, so yeah, and obviously that's from Good versus Evil. So now, actually moving over, I ranked all the games and expansions. Worst card or set is the starter cards, which, they're starter cards, and basically you can have it at the start of the game, and there's only 3 of them that I have, and they're mainly just cat cards, but I do have the 2 special versions, Creepy Peaky and the Archaeology card. And then you have the 8-card special from the 10th year anniversary, which I do have that, as you'll see in a moment, but basically it's only 8 cards and it's like $20 and you only get 8 cards. And then you have Good versus Evil, which I think has like the worst set of cards, like Reveal the Future, but then you have Armageddon, which is like the middle of the pack, and so it just kind of, it's an expansion but also its own game, so you get a lot of see the features and notes. Then you also have Zombie Kittens, which is cool because like you can keep people in the game like once they die, but they kind of sit there hoping to be brought back. And then of course Exploding Kittens is just really cool. Like it's really good on its own and whatnot. And then ranking the expansions, you have Barking Kittens, just the weakest of the 3, I'd say, card wise. And then you have Imploding Kittens, which is really cool. It's just like builds off on attack, skip, the reverse, alter the future. You have Streaking Kittens, so you have like the Streaking Kitten and Curse of the Kappa and whatnot. And then I'd say ranking the extra wearables / playmat. The playmat, that's just where you put God Cat and Devil Cat. It's boring. Then you have the Tower of Power, which is like goes with the Tower of Power card. And you gotta wear it the rest of the game. And then you have Cone of Shame, which is if you forget whose turn it is, then you gotta wear it until the next person forgets whose turn it is. And it's really funny to watch. Now, overall, ranking my Exploding Kittens collection, I would say, and so I kind of share the box with Unstable Unicorns, which is I like a little bit less, but I'd say ranking them all, I'd say the board game there is my least favorite, then the 10th year anniversary because it only includes 10 cards, and then all these black cards are Recipes for Disaster, which is really fun. You get to make a whole bunch of mixtures, and then obviously the number one is all this Exploding Kittens game. And it's really fun to have all the cards. Again, this is Michael Sawyer, and thanks for seeing my card collection and the ranking of the cards. Bye!